Today, I'd like to talk about the choice of happiness. As we wake each morning, we're handed the reins of the day. We can opt to stride in faith, embracing joy, anticipating blessings, or we can opt for the dismal path, riddled with defeat, fixated on our troubles. Happiness isn't a default setting, it's a conscious decision. We can't simply roll out of bed and expect joy to knock on our door. We must actively declare the tone of our day. Right at dawn, we must resolve, I'm going to seize this day with joy. I'll seek the silver lining, count my blessings, cherish my loved ones, and relish every moment. If we fail to chart our course, circumstances will gladly take the helm. Every snag will loom large, every inconvenience a testament to our misfortune. Thoughts like, I dread the commute, this traffic is unbearable, nothing ever goes my way, only serve to anchor us in despondency. We may not realize it, but with each negative musing, we're consciously choosing a gloomy outlook. The ancient text reminds us, joy comes in the morning. Each dawn, a fresh batch of joy is dispatched our way. We can shrug it off, thinking, not for me, my troubles are too many. Or we can embrace it, affirming, life may not be perfect, but I know who holds the reins. Despite the hurdles, I'll relish this day. This attitude echoes the resolve of David, who faced myriad adversaries, battling armies and enduring slander. Amidst all challenges, he proclaimed, today is a gift from above, and I'll embrace it with joy. Despite daunting circumstances whispering despair, fear, and isolation, he didn't succumb. Instead of narrating his woes, he declared his faith boldly. Despite the odds, I choose happiness. Despite slanderous tongues, I choose happiness. Even if my kin doubt me, I'll seize this day with joy. Happiness requires intentionality. In life's tapestry of betrayals and setbacks, one must assert, I refuse to sour over what's amiss. Neither workplace woes nor adversities will steal my joy. I'll rejoice. I'll find gladness. I'll savor this day. Remember, your will surpasses your emotions' sway. David, when he penned these words, didn't feel jubilant, yet he proclaimed, I will rejoice. Don't await happiness to befall you. Decide to embrace it first, and it shall follow. You might feel disheartened, much like David did. Valid reasons exist: life's unfairness, grief's grasp, and bleak prospects. The adversary wishes to shackle you in perpetual despondency, whispering, this is your lot, enduring days in bitterness. Defy it. Ignite your will. I'll choose joy. I'll relish today. I'll dwell on God's goodness. Let your will dictate, overriding fleeting emotions. True maturity lies in finding joy amidst life's storms, irrespective of circumstances. Joel, my joy will return post-pandemic. I'll find happiness post-graduation. Winning for the Texans? It'll be a while before I'm in high spirits. Marriage equals happiness? Well, that's a wait. Single? Happy. Married? Still happy. Postponing joy? There's always an excuse not to be happy. Why not choose happiness today? Not later when the sky clears, not after the boss changes, not post-20-pound weight loss, not upon promotion. Today's the day the Lord's given. I've learned if you can't find joy where you are, you might not reach where you aspire. Hate this job, dislike this place. Try a fresh perspective. Thankful God for this job. Help me guard my joy from these joy stealers. A positive attitude where you stand is a seed for change. But if bitterness prevails, find joy where you are. Dream house? Not yet, but content in this apartment. Not hitched, content in singleness. Health issue lingers? Yet, God, I choose happiness amidst change. Your happiness, your call. It's not on anyone else. You're as happy as you decide. Played basketball with a guy always upbeat, despite chemo visits. Grab a bite? I asked post-game. Nope, clinic calls, he said. 3 years battling cancer, yet you'd never know. Sorry to hear, I said. No pity needed. Life's good. Blessed with a wife, a son, grateful for every breath. Could have dwelled in Why me? Not fair. But he chose happiness where he stood. I inquired about his remarkable demeanor. He shared, "Each morning upon awakening, I ask myself, do I opt for despondency or embrace joy? I opt for joy. It makes me ponder how much more fulfilling our lives could be if we followed his lead and commenced selecting happiness. Adversity is unavoidable. I can't promise that faith will shield you from trials, misfortune, or betrayal. Yet I assure you, these adversities need not steal your joy. Your happiness lies within your control. As David proclaimed in Psalm 144, "Blessed are those whose God is the Lord." Sometimes circumstances appear bleak, offering no cause for celebration. Battling illness, enduring a pandemic, facing workplace challenges, nothing seems auspicious in these scenarios. However, our source of happiness stems from the sovereignty of our God. He reigns supreme, governing the cosmos. He sustains us, heals us, defends us, and charts our course. We find solace in the fact that the mightiest force in the universe stands by our side. No mortal, no setback, no affliction, no addiction, nor any darkness can impede what God has ordained for us. It's noteworthy that David began by acknowledging, "This is the day that the Lord has made." Instead of merely resolving to rejoice, he acknowledged, "God, I acknowledge your hand in crafting this day and granting me life. You chose me before I could choose you. You knit me together in my mother's womb. Thus, I refuse to squander this day dwelling on negativity, fixating on my problems, or nursing my wounds. Today, I choose to embrace life to the fullest extent. You and I are not here by accident. God could have chosen anyone to be alive today. There are billions of people who have lived and died, but God handpicked you to be here at this time. He woke you up this morning. He gave you the strength to get out of bed. He's crowned you with favor. He put seeds of greatness in you. He calls you more than a conqueror, the head and not the tail. One way we honor God is by living happily. He didn't create you to drag through the day, overcome by problems, discouraged by disappointments. Oh, this day is a gift from God. We should feel a responsibility to live it in faith, happiness, joy, and good nature. Once this day is over, we can never get it back. We don't have time to waste another minute being negative, discouraged, or focused on what didn't work out, complaining about who did us wrong. Get your joy back. Well, Joel, I'd be happier, but I've been through hurts. People have done me wrong. I say this respectfully. Everyone's been hurt. I've had disappointments, bad breaks, loss. We all have. You can use that as an excuse and let it sour the rest of your life. Or you can say, "Father, thank you for entrusting me with another day. I'm not going to take it for granted. I recognize it's a day that you have made. I'm going to choose to be happy. I'm going to choose to enjoy this day. I'm going to live it to the full." When you have that kind of attitude, God will give you beauty for ashes. He'll make up for the wrongs. A few months ago, there were some birds right outside our bedroom window. At 5 o'clock in the morning, they started chirping so loudly that they woke me up. This went on for over an hour. All this singing, different sounds, melodies. One would chirp real loud, there'd be a pause, then another would answer. At times, they'd all chirp together. It sounded like a symphony. I would have enjoyed it, but it was 5 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to sleep. The next morning, at 5 o'clock, the same thing again and again. One morning it was raining, thundering. I thought there's no way those birds are going to sing today. No way they're going to be happy. Cold, rainy, lightning, 5 o'clock, right on cue, here came the birds louder than ever. I wanted to say to those birds, "Why are you so happy? Don't you know we're in a pandemic? Haven't you read the news? There are problems in the world. The price of gas is high. The supply chain is messed up. How can you be singing? What if you don't get your worms tomorrow?" It's interesting how God put something in those birds to start the day off singing. They're saying, in effect, life is good. We're happy. We're going to enjoy this day. What would happen if we would have that song of praise every morning, like those birds? Not be moved by our circumstances, but sing in the dark when things aren't going our way. Sing in the rain when circumstances are against us. Sing in the cold when we don't feel like it. We could be discouraged, complaining. Instead, We're making this choice that we're going to live this day happy. One reason those birds are so happy is they haven't watched the news. They haven't read the papers. They're not on social media. Nobody has told them they're supposed to be worried, afraid, or upset. They believe that their Heavenly Father is in control. They've seen Him take care of them in the past. They believe He'll take care of them in the future. If you're going to live happier, you may have to tune some things out. You can't take in the negative all the time and stay in faith. The scripture says, think on things that are of a good report, things that are positive, hopeful. Our thinking has a lot to do with our happiness. The Apostle Paul went through a lot of bad breaks. 2 Corinthians 11 lists some of these difficulties. 5 times he was beaten with rods. Once he was stoned. 3 times he had been shipwrecked. He was bitten by a poisonous snake, faced angry mobs, fought off bandits, survived flooded rivers. He had gone without food, proper clothing, sleepless nights. Nobody had more come against them than Paul. After being in prison for 2 years, he was brought before King Agrippa for his trial. When he stood up to give his defense, the first thing he said was, "King Agrippa, I think myself happy." You would think he would see himself as a victim, be bitter, angry, have a chip on his shoulder. But he shows us a secret of how to overcome all that. He said, "I think myself happy." You can think yourself into a bad mood. Think yourself a victim. Or you can do like Paul and say, "Yes, I've had a lot of difficulties. I could be sour, live discouraged, but I'm going to think myself happy." As long as you're thinking about your hurts, what you didn't get, how you were left out, you're going to be discouraged. Why don't you start thinking happy thoughts? Happy thoughts like, I have a bright future. Something good is going to happen to me. My latter days will be better than my former days. I'm not saying to deny the negative. I'm saying don't dwell on it. Don't relive what didn't work out. Don't replay the loss, the disappointment, the failure. You can't move forward if you're looking back. You can't enjoy today if you're focused on yesterday. You may have had disappointments, things that are not fair. You need to do like Paul and start thinking yourself happy. I get up every morning and tell Victoria, today is going to be a great day. You know what I'm doing? Thinking myself happy. I'm getting my mind going in the right direction. It's easy to get up and think yourself sad. Think yourself into self-pity. Why did I come down with this illness? My friends are all married. Why am I still single? These people at work are not treating me right. This is not fair. You're thinking yourself defeated. You have to change what you're thinking. Yes, I came down with this illness, but Father, I want to thank you that you're restoring health back into me, that I will live and not die, that my best days are still in front of me. Oh yes, these people at work are not treating me right, but I'm not a victim. I know I'm a victor. God, you're my vindicator. You said you would always cause me to triumph. Happy thoughts are, God, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm excited about my future. I believe you're taking me from glory to glory, that I haven't seen or imagined the great things you have in store. When you think happy thoughts, it not only lifts your spirit, but that attitude of faith is what allows God to do amazing things. After Paul gave this great speech to King Agrippa, he was sent back to prison. His prayer wasn't answered. You would think now he would surely be discouraged. Surely he'd be complaining. No, in prison he wrote, "Rejoice in the Lord always." And again, I say rejoice. He was telling us, even when it doesn't go your way, just keep thinking. Happy thoughts. Keep giving God praise. Keep thanking God that He's working. Keep being grateful when you could be complaining. Keep thinking victory when you're seeing defeat. Happiness is not dependent on what's going on around you. It's dependent on what's going on in you. What kind of thoughts are you thinking? I'll never get well. I've had this too long. You're thinking yourself discouraged. I can't break this addiction. It's been in my family for years. You're thinking yourself limited. I can't be happy, Joel. I've been through a lot of loss, a lot of heartache. That's not how your story ends. Here's a key. You have to give yourself permission to be happy. Sometimes we buy into the lie that we're not supposed to be happy. We've been through too much. We've made too many mistakes. If we're happy, people may not understand. Can I tell you you're supposed to be happy? God created you to enjoy your life, to laugh, to smile. Happiness starts on the inside. Give God something to work with. Every morning you need to say to yourself, I'm happy, I'm grateful, I'm blessed. You can't receive happiness if you're thinking sadness. Joy is coming every morning. Some people have been bypassing it year after year because of their thoughts. You will live happier if you'll start thinking happier. While Paul was in prison, he wrote in 1 Thessalonians, "Be happy in the faith, glad-hearted." He didn't say anything about our circumstances. Be happy if people treat you good. Be happy if your plans work out. Be happy if you don't have any disappointments. He was saying, get in a habit of thinking happy thoughts. Don't let the negative circumstances talk you out of living happy. I was driving down the road the other day and I was in a hurry to get to an appointment. There was a car in front of me that was driving 20 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. It was a one-lane street. You couldn't pass and it wasn't a school zone. The driver wasn't elderly, so I couldn't understand why they wouldn't go faster. At that point, I had to make up my mind that I was going to think happy thoughts because the thoughts that were coming were not happy. My initial reactions were to blow the horn, call them a name, or get them out of my way. I was about to make myself upset, but instead, I did what I'm asking you to do. I said, God, I know you're in control. You're ordering my steps. I thank you that it's a good day. I'm healthy. I'm blessed. I have a bright future. I switched over to happy thoughts. Not long after that, they turned, I honked my horn, and went on. In the scripture of Habakkuk, it puts it this way, though the fig tree does not blossom, and there are no fruit on the vine, though the olive crops fail, and there are no cattle in the stalls. Everything was going wrong for Habakkuk. Business was down, his crops weren't producing, his income was limited. If he would have stopped there, he'd have been depressed, discouraged, and dragged through the day. But he went on to say, yet will I rejoice in the Lord, I will joy in the God of my salvation. He was saying, even when things are falling apart, I'm still going to think happy thoughts. I'm still going to thank God that I'm alive, that I have purpose, and that good things are in store. Are you thinking yourself sad? Are you thinking yourself discouraged? Are you thinking yourself a victim? It's time to start thinking happy thoughts. A lady I know is very joyful. She always has a smile. Every time I'm around her, she's so good-natured and so fun. She's had difficulties in life. It hasn't been easy, but she's learned this secret, to think happy thoughts. She was at a store, and she went up to the counter to purchase something. The man at the register asked how she was doing. She smiled very enthusiastically and said, I'm blessed and just grateful to be alive. He looked at her and said, do you go to Lakewood? She said, I do. He said, I should have known it. Everyone that comes in here like you goes to Lakewood. I believe we should be the happiest people on earth. There should be a difference between us and people that don't honor God. When you go to work, everyone may be complaining, discouraged, talking defeat. Don't fall into that trap. Stay full of joy. Keep a smile on your face. Keep thinking happy thoughts. This world needs more happy people. We need more joy in the world. There's so much sadness, gloom, and despair. If we're not careful, we'll let what's happening around us get in us. That's why every morning you have to choose to be happy. Not, I feel, but I will rejoice. I will enjoy this day. I will be happy. What do you consider the highlight of your life? Your wedding day? The birth of your child? The day you got the all clear from cancer? Or maybe the day you settled into your new home? All of those are indeed significant moments, cherished in our memories. But you know what I reckon truly stands out as the pinnacle of your existence? It's today. Yup, that's right. Today is the day. Another chance gifted by the big guy upstairs to relish life, to bask in the warmth of family, to witness the dawn of a new day, teeming with possibilities, ripe for chasing your dreams and tackling your aspirations. Now, sure, life can throw its curveballs, traffic snarls, pesky remarks, work woes, but don't let that rob you of the splendor of this day. There's no such thing as a mundane day, my friend. Each sunrise is a divine offering. As the good book says, our life is but a fleeting vapor, here one moment, gone the next. A century down the line will all be history. If only we grasped the true value of each passing day, I reckon we'd savor it with a tad more gusto. It's easy to fall into the trap of routine, to trudge through the day's trials and tribulations, only to bid adieu as dusk falls. But what if we flipped the script? What if we embraced each day as the ultimate day? That's when the magic happens. You won't sweat the small stuff. You'll take a moment to revel in the company of those dear to you. You'll extend a friendly nod to the neighbor feeling a tad lonesome. You'll cultivate a garden of happy thoughts. You'll exude gratitude. And by golly, you'll seize the day like there's no tomorrow. A buddy of mine who's a pastor dropped by to see this 35-year-old mom at the hospital. She was battling cancer, and the docs gave her little chance to see the morning light again. He walked in, held her hand, shared his love and prayers. With a feeble voice, she managed a warm smile and said, "Pastor, today's the tops." He looked a bit puzzled, thinking, "Really? You're not looking so hot lying here, thin as a rail, hair all gone." She explained, I wasn't sure I'd open my eyes this morning. But look, God's gifted me another shot to hug my kids, to be with my folks." Then she added, "If I make it past today, come evening, I'm gonna gaze at the stars, soak in the moonlight." Sure, life may throw you curveballs, stuff to sour your mood, things that pinch your joy, but if you size it up right, seeing this day as heaven sent, truly the best you've got, then cruising through it with a smile, not letting the bumps, the what-ifs, or the rude drivers throw you off becomes a breeze. As Paul neared the end of his life, he proclaimed, "I aim to wrap up my journey with joy. We'll all eventually join the Lord. I refuse to depart disheartened, feeling like a casualty, lamenting, 'Look at my trials. Why did they occur?' Let's stride forth, brimming with joy, viewing each day as a blessing, rising each dawn and opting for happiness, echoing David's words, 'Regardless of my emotions, I'll rejoice. I'll be content.'" Let's emulate Paul, cultivating a mindset of positivity. If you embrace this, I affirm and proclaim, you'll lead a more joyful existence. You'll savor life to the fullest. Shackles that hindered you are shattering as we speak. God is poised to unleash upon you fresh waves of joy, favor, liberty, satisfaction. You shall conclude your journey with joy. You shall conclude your journey with joy.